Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I thought it would be a good idea to continue on with my series of favorite products from the drugstore, and I know I've done my favorite bronzers from the drugstore already, and I have a favorite contouring products from the drugstore coming up. Either it's already up or it's coming up soon. I wanted to keep adding on to this series, so today I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite foundations from the drugstore. I should just explain my kind of skin type and skin situation with you so you have a basis for what I am basing my favorite foundations on. I have a combination skin tone, sort of have dry patches around my face, like on my forehead I have quite a few dry patches. I don't know if you can even see on the camera, but on my jawline I've got a lot of dry patches, and in certain areas are on my cheeks. But then I also get oily throughout the day, and the areas that I get oily are my forehead, pretty much all over my forehead. The area right here, like not my nose actually stays pretty normal, but the area right here, like these little triangles right here, this is where I get oily as well, and then my chin. So just small areas, and I'm not like super oily or anything, and it really only happens when it's hot outside or I just have a really long day. Then my skin starts getting greasy, so I definitely swing between normal to combination and normal to dry. I really don't know what exactly I am. I'm just gonna go with normal, sometimes combination, and sometimes normal dry. Guys, I hope that was kind of helpful because honestly I have so much trouble figuring out my skin type. Also, I have a medium skin tone. I know that in videos and on camera my skin kind of either looks really pale or really dark, and I really can't figure out how to fix the lighting and stuff for that. I'm just using the lighting from my window. Half Asian, so my skin tone is medium on the more light side, but I do get super tanned in summer, so right now my skin is really tan. I'm gonna now jump right into my favorite foundations. I'm not really going into in a particular order, but my first two foundations are my favorite foundations, if that makes sense. The rest of them, it's like they're all the same, but the first two that I'm going to talk about are my favorite two foundations. I'm going to start off with my all-time favorite foundation from the drugstore. This is my Rimmel Lasting Finish 25-Hour Foundation. I have two shades that I kind of mix and wear at different times during the year. This is the shade 200, and then I have one that is called 103. I love this foundation. I know I've talked about it so much in the past. It does something to my skin. I don't know how to explain it. I never feel like I have a good skin day unless I'm wearing this foundation. I don't know what it is, but for some reason it makes my skin look almost flawless, like as flawless as I could get it. And I do have a lot of blemishes on my face, not so much right now, it's kind of clearing up. I do have dark spots, dry patches, I have acne blemishes and acne currently. I don't really know if I have any right now, but yeah, I do have like scarring and I do have blemishes, and this foundation covers up everything. Plus, I feel like it blurs and evens out the texture on my skin. I don't really notice texture when I'm wearing this foundation, and it has like a perfumey kind of scent. If you're sensitive to smells, you probably won't like the smell. It kind of smells like shampoo. I actually don't mind it. I kind of enjoy putting this foundation on my face because of the smell, which is kind of weird. Favorite way to apply this foundation is with a buffing brush. I feel like with a brush it gives you pretty much full coverage, or at least high, medium to full coverage. I don't know if it lasts 25 hours. I've never worn it for that long, but it does last an entire work day, about 16 hours probably in total. I honestly just think this is a really great foundation, and it's like $9–10. It's around that range, so it's super affordable. It's definitely more of a satin finish. I don't know if I mentioned that. It just makes my skin look so good. I love this foundation, and as soon as I lose my tan, I'm going to be jumping right back into wearing this little baby. My second favorite foundation is actually this L'Oreal Infallible Pro-Matte foundation. I like this for completely different reasons than I like this one. This is like my everyday Foundation. I wear this one just to go to work, to school. I mean, not school anymore because I'm done. If I am going out, like at nighttime, or I know I have a super long day ahead of me, for any occasion where I want full coverage matte foundation, then I grab this. I have 105 in my hand right now, and I also use the shade 104. They are both too light for me right now, so I mix it in with like a darker foundation that I have. This foundation claims to have a medium coverage. Honestly, I feel like it's a full coverage foundation. At least you can build it up to a full coverage without it getting cakey. It also says it's demi-matte. I kind of do agree that it's demi-matte. I mean, it's not, it is a matte foundation. It looks very matte and it dries completely to like a powder on your face, but it doesn't look like a dead matte. Like, it doesn't look like your skin is sucked of moisture. It just gives you like a soft matte finish, which is really nice. I haven't worn this for 24 hours, but it does last a long time. And the reason I like wearing this one over this one when I have either a nighttime event or I have a really long day where I want to leave early in the morning and not get back till late and I don't have time to redo my face, is because this one does work best for the oily areas on my face. It looks less greasy by the end of a super long, like 20-hour day. It feels so luxurious on your face. As soon as you apply it, it doesn't feel sticky at all. You can't even tell you're wearing a foundation. It just feels like skin. It's really good. This is a little bit pricier. This is around the $20 range in Canada. I always buy mine on sale, so it goes down to about $14. The only thing about this foundation that I don't like is that I feel like it accentuates texture on my skin. It doesn't do what this one does. I mean, this one can't think of anything I don't like about this foundation, but this one blurs and kind of evens out the texture on my face, whereas this one, I feel like it accentuates texture a little bit. Like if I have a pimple, this one will kind of wrap itself around the pimple and make it look more obvious. Like, cancels out the redness and the discoloration, but I do feel like it accentuates texture, which is why it's not my number one, but it is really good. Just a really great drugstore option if you want a matte full coverage foundation. So my next favorite foundation is the Revlon Colorstay 24 Hours Foundation. It's their whipped formula and it comes in this glass jar. I have the shade 320 Warm Golden. My favorite way to apply this foundation is with a sponge or a really like dense buffing brush like the Morphe M439 or the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. It's kind of like a moussey consistency. It's a little bit thicker in formula. And even though it is a thick consistency, it doesn't feel thick on your face at all. It feels very light. Honestly, I don't notice that I'm wearing this foundation when I have it on. It sets to about a powder finish. It gives you really decent coverage. Like, I'd say medium to high medium coverage. It's more of a satin finish, not very dewy and not completely matte either, so just a really nice natural looking finish. It doesn't look cakey or anything. You can build it up similar to this one. They both last really long. The only difference is this one has, I feel like it has slightly more coverage. Again, it is pricier, about $20, and it also comes with a little bit less product than your standard foundation. It comes with 23.7 milliliters, so a little bit less than your 30. I don't really mind that it has less, and it's just really good. Definitely a great foundation if you like satin finishes, which are my favorite finish to wear on my skin actually. The next foundation is really similar to this one, except it is the liquid version. It's the Revlon Colorstay 24-hour liquid foundation. I have the shade 250 Fresh Beige, and I bought it in the normal to dry skin formula. This is the exact same finish as this one, I think. The only difference is the texture. My favorite way to apply this is with a buffing brush. The Real Techniques buffing brush is like my go-to for this foundation. This has amazing coverage. It's a full coverage foundation, or at least a high, medium, and buildable coverage. It lasts a really long time. Honestly, I think all of my foundations last a really long time. So you can just assume all of these foundations that I'm showing you are long lasting and will get you through a 15-16 hour work day. This one again is a satin finish. It looks very natural on your skin. It doesn't look cakey. It does set to almost a powder, like it doesn't feel tacky on your skin or anything. It smells a little bit like paint. This one smells the same too, actually. Yeah, these two smell the exact same. They smell a little bit like paint, but I don't really notice the smell that much, and I actually don't mind the smell. It kind of smells nice. It reminds me of like my mom's makeup or something. Anyways, really good foundation, highly recommend. My last favorite foundation is actually two foundations. I'm going to be combining them into like one. They are both the Maybelline Fit Me Foundation, except one is the Hydrate and Smooth version, so like the dewy finish, and one is the matte and poreless. I bought the Hydrate and Smooth one first. This was the first foundation I actually purchased, and I bought it in the shade 120. I ran out of that one. I bought this one instead, which is in the shade 235. These two are actually the foundations I'm wearing on my face today. I mixed both of them, and that's my favorite way to wear the Fit Me foundation, is mixing the matte and poreless with the Hydrate and Smooth, because then it gives me a satin finish. By itself, the Hydrate and Smooth, or the dewy version, is super dewy. Like, it almost feels greasy, and definitely towards the end of the day I'm feeling like it's really greasy and oily on my skin and in my problem areas. Even if I set my entire face, I still don't feel as comfortable as I would if I had mixed both of these foundations together. It does give you a really pretty dewy finish though, if you like dewy finishes or if you have super dry skin. It's probably my least long wearing foundations. They don't last the longest on my skin personally. If you have oily skin, I would recommend the matte and poreless. I have the shade 125. It's way too pale for me right now, but I mean that's not a problem because I mix it with this anyway. It's not too matte, but it's definitely not a dewy foundation. Because my skin is kind of normal, I think mixing them together gives me the most perfect finish. Just a very satin finish, looks very natural. Neither of these have like the highest coverage. I'd say they're both medium coverage, but they're definitely buildable. They're probably the cheapest out of all the ones I showed you today. I think they're around $7, $8. I just really love both of these foundations, but especially mixed together. So those were all my favorite foundations from the drugstore. I hope that was informative enough. I feel like I left out a lot of things that I should have probably included. I think the drugstore has a lot of really great options foundation wise. I mean, I'm pretty picky with foundations as well, but I highly recommend all of these 5 that I showed you today because I think they work for my skin type. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe if you would like to see more videos. And I guess I'll see you in my next one. Bye!